If I were to ask you, what's the main thing holding you back from reaching your goals? What would you say? Chances are you'd say something like, I'm not disciplined enough. I just can't stay motivated. Or I don't have what it takes. These are the same things I used to think when I couldn't reach my goals. Until one day I just got sick of not following through with any of these goals that I thought I wanted. And I started to just examine what my goals were and try to figure out the reasons why I didn't fall through. And what I found were three main reasons, and each goal fell under at least one of these reasons, if not more. And I realized that these were the main reasons why I couldn't accomplish these goals. And the good news is that these things are much easier to fix than trying to become a more disciplined person or keep up your motivation or develop these skills you don't think you have. And the first reason is it won't give you what you really want. Most of the goals I've ever had, I'd put in a lot of work, make a lot of progress, and then get to this point where I knew I needed to put in a lot more work to make it, to the next step. And I just started thinking, why am I doing this? And I couldn't think of a good answer. So I just stopped. And a lot of us, when we do this over and over again, we start to beat ourselves up. Like, oh, I just can't follow through with anything. I just quit everything I start. But there's a big difference between quitting when something gets hard and letting it go when it's not right. And that's one thing I started to learn, is that all these goals that weren't happening for me, it was just because I realized that they weren't right. It wasn't a conscious thought, but I just realized I didn't have a reason to move forward. One thing I do now when I start setting new goals is something I like to call the tomorrow test. Basically, how this works is you envision that tomorrow you wake up and you've accomplished your goal, whatever it is. Think about whether or not you achieving that goal will have an impact on your day. My favorite example to use with this is a goal that a lot of people say they want, but most people don't follow through with, which is six-pack abs. So think about it. You wake up tomorrow, you look down, and you have nice chiseled six-pack. What's the first thing you do? Maybe the first thing you do is you go look in the mirror and admire yourself, but after that, well, you probably do the exact same thing you do every day, because it doesn't really change anything. All it changes is your outward appearance, which for most people won't change a lot. Maybe you can think of ways that it would really make a difference in your life and tie in that meaning, but for most people, they know it's just a superficial thing, which is why it's so hard to stay motivated and disciplined through that. So anytime you set a new goal, put it through the tomorrow test and figure out if it's actually worth pursuing before you put in all the work. Now, on to the second thing, which I really feel like this is why most New Year's resolutions fizzle out by end of February. And that is simply, it's not constantly on your mind. Year after year, I see people make these New Year's resolutions, like, I'm gonna read more, I'm gonna work out 3 days a week. And the first couple weeks, everyone's talking about the resolutions, right? So it's on your mind, you're thinking about it constantly. But by the third week of January, by February, no one's really talking about it anymore. And so a lot of people just simply forget about their resolutions. But what's amazing about this is that it's so easy to fix. Just write down your goal and look at it every day. The way I do this is I put it as a note in my phone. And when I pick up my phone in the morning, the first thing I do after I unlock it is open up that note and read my goal. I like to have it on my phone. You might prefer having it as a printout, up on your wall that you'll see every day. It really doesn't matter how you do it. All that matters is just that you have your goal on your mind all of the time, so that when you get to these points in your day where you have to make decisions, you're more likely to make the decision that's in favor of you progressing towards your goal, because it's actually on your mind and you didn't just forget about it. Now, the third reason why you might not be following through with your goals is one that you've probably heard before, and that's why it's last, but it's still so important, which is you don't enjoy the process. Now, I want to explain this in a way that maybe you haven't heard before. If you have a long-term big goal that will take 5 or 10 years for you to accomplish, all those years leading up to it, you don't want them to feel like wasted years. Oh, I just worked so hard this whole time, I didn't get to do anything, and maybe by year 9, something happens and you can't follow through with that goal. Well, now do you feel like all those 9 years were just wasted effort? If you actually enjoyed the process leading up to it and you felt like Yeah, I was learning, I was progressing, I was making a difference, all on my way to trying to achieve that goal. You won't feel like those years are wasted. And the second reason is that a lot of those big long term goals aren't just one time achievements. There are some that are, like winning a gold medal at the Olympics, but if your goal is something like starting a business or something where once you get to that goal, it's going to require a level of maintenance. Unless your goal is to have a successful company so you can sell it. But if your goal is to like run a successful business, for example, there's going to be a lot of work leading up to getting to that successful point, and then a lot of work to maintain that or progress further. So if you didn't enjoy the work leading up to it, why would you all of a sudden enjoy the work that you have to do once you have that goal? All right, and the last thing I want you guys to do is tap that thumbs up if you like this video, and please comment below with anything that was like a big realization for you or that you're just really excited to start implementing. And if you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe so that you can get alerted each time there's a new one. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.